indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
I want you to listen to the bulletin today, please. Party favors. Pupils are asked to leave all party favors at home, such as balloons and party poppers. School is a place of business and not a place for toys of any type.
There will be no hats worn on the campus during the school except in rainy weather. Pupils who insist on wearing hats are to have them taken away by teachers and sent to the vice principals.
Friday is the day of the big game. That's the day we separate the boys from the men. Or do we?
Dad, I was really in Las Vegas, but you just put that there.
You were really in Las Vegas, but you were home with a sore throat. Now, that makes a lot of sense.
Well, she didn't.
What am I supposed to do now? Your mom says you're home with a sore throat, and you tell me you're in Las Vegas.
Well, Mr. Linnick knows that I went to Las Vegas, so I don't want to get in trouble.
The menu for the week is today they're having spaghetti, or yesterday they had spaghetti. Today they're having Spanish noodles and sloppy joe. Wednesday, cheese enchilada, hamburger gravy, liver and onions.
Girls' League. Don't forget Girls' League meeting during homeroom Wednesday. I know. Yeah. Spirit Week, Renaissance dance.
7th grade, no note from your mother?
No.
Why? You told me you were out 2 days. Your mother didn't call us to come back without a note. Boy, are you in dog.
No nurse today. We have no nurse at school today. Be alert to your health needs. Teachers will carefully screen your requests to go to the health office. All right? You may have the rest of the time to talk.
Elementary school is a place where the kid is expected to learn the mechanics of reading and writing. Junior high school is a place where he's expected to decide what to do with it.
It's the most critical period in the development of a child. You win them or you lose them here.
They're subjected to 6 teachers daily. They have to adapt to the teacher's mood and the classroom situation and the rules and what the teacher expects of them. They're programmed into classes, whether they wish to take the classes or not. At the sound of the bell, and they're forced to move about into a hallway filled with 1,500 students pushing and shoving and elbowing and tripping, and
They're thrown into this whirlpool, and it's on some days a sink or swim deal with them.
School is a place to send the child. It's a place where he can be from X hour to Y hour without the parent having to be concerned. As long as the child brings home a reasonable report card, they don't get calls from the vice principal that he's in trouble, and they know where he is from 8 to 3, and the school is doing the job for them.
Junior high school is 3 years that are either heaven, hell, or purgatory.
There is no such thing as an average junior high school student. They're constantly changing. They're never the same from one day to the next. One day they're very grown up, they're very mature, very sophisticated. And then the next day they're little children, they're babies. They cry, they giggle, they act silly.
You have everything from really little kids who may come in big bodies or little bodies, old bodies or young bodies.
They're torn between being children and the desire to be adults and accepted as adults, and yet they have the emotional needs of children.
They're quick to adapt fads. They're wanting so not to be different that it's almost painful.
They're nervous,
and energetic and weren't meant to sit in a classroom for 8 hours a day.
Junior high school might be a time to explore, but I think it's more a time of exploding. The student explodes physically. He grows 2 feet. Can you imagine growing 2 feet over a period of 3 years?
His voice squeaks when he wants to make it low and impressive. He stumbles over himself. He wants to make an impression upon the teachers and upon the girls. Oftentimes he gets egg on his face. He's a man. He's a little boy. He's all mixed up. He knows exactly where he's going. He's lost, but he finds himself a dozen times a day.
Some days the girls can be so adult, obviously aware of it, and the next day they'll come into your class, some incident has happened, and they'll be shrieking and screaming, and if you dared to ruin that moment, you would crush them.
They're being extremely critical. They're saying the establishment won't change. And yet, they get into the habit of doing things one certain way. And if you change the format on them, they go to pieces.
They say what they think. If they don't like what you're doing, they tell you. If they don't like you, they'll tell you. They're honest. They're sometimes more honest than you would like them to be. And they hurt you, and they hurt one another.
Junior high school student is a miniature adult in many ways. By the standards of 20 years ago, perhaps he's blunt, but so is society.
I was really scared coming to junior high and hearing all about these big kids.
You have to watch what you're saying around kids. Otherwise, you're going to get it.
Keep your mouth shut. Don't bug anybody. And just keep it cool. Don't go by any 9th graders. And don't walk on the 9th grader lawn, because I've been thrown in a trash can already. I went across, and they all picked me up and threw me in.
I've outgrown junior high school, as a lot of my friends have. We've outgrown the in-betweenness of being a kid and an adult.
Once you get to 9th grade, you don't really care about the rest of the junior high. You just think of going into high school.
Put your little hands on the home keys. Swing those big red eyes over on the book. Ready? Begin.
You're being constantly conditioned and pushed into a mold. You're a person in a line. You're a person on the lunch bench. You're the thing behind homework. You're a problem or you're not a problem. You're nothing. You're just there.
When they find it convenient to treat you like little kids, they'll treat you like little kids. When it suits them better to treat you as adults, they'll treat you as adults.
Carriage. Total words typed multiplied by 2.
48, 42,
30,
42, 42.
41, I hear. 41. 40, 48? 38. Lisa? 38. Okay. Fine and dandy. Oh, okay, carriage. Now, this time, let's talk about accuracy.
You weigh a sheet of paper, fold it so it doesn't hang over the side. It's going to weigh the same if it's folded or if it's hanging over the side.
The world for a junior high school student must be very confusing and mystifying. It's all great one day and it's terrible the next day. There are explosions which are occurring, emotional explosions, physical explosions, mental explosions. It's a very exciting time, but a very terrifying time for these kids. And the teacher's responsibility, I think, is to sort of swing along with this and be able to contain some of this confusion and all of this enthusiasm.
The responsibility is always there. The fact that you're dealing with human beings in a period of the greatest development, and one wrong step is liable to make a tremendous difference to him throughout the rest of his life.
I guess it does give us a chance to play God, and we do it.
Maybe do what?
You see, each of you people can...
A good junior high school teacher has to be able to move in many directions at once, to react to all of these different ages and different feelings, and still have some kind of format, some kind of plans. Sometimes I feel as though I'm a good teacher, and other days I feel as though I don't earn my salary.
I'm a good teacher about 3.5 times a week, which is not a bad average in relation to what most people do.
Nobody really cares that you're out there in the classroom, and if you're good, you're good. If you're bad, you're bad. But so what? You get the same pay as the worst teacher.
A bad teacher is one that can make an interesting subject dull, one that doesn't give a damn what you do, just as long as they keep you busy, keep you out of trouble.
I would say that 50% of the teachers I have had want nothing more out of you but to do your homework, do your tests, and be quiet.
A bad teacher is one who doesn't ever check to find out whether the youngsters are learning anything. He may just go ahead teaching and nobody's learning. And he either doesn't see this or he fools himself into thinking that because it's quiet in the room, learning is going on. There are a number of teachers in the business who should never have been teachers. For their own sakes, as well as the sake of young people, they might be better off not teaching any longer.
Carlos, your father didn't call me Friday when you were out. How come? Was he supposed to call you? Well, sure. Anybody that has truant season is supposed to be out of school without their parents calling them. Where were you Friday? We called your house and we got no answer, Mary.
Friday?
Mm-hmm.
Who's there?
Did you answer the phone one time?
My mother wasn't home then.
You don't answer the phone?
Will you please take out your sentences and pass them back one, and the one in the back bring his forward, and then listen very carefully as to how we will correct these. Yes. Oh, for heaven's sake, go get it. I have sometimes said, oh my God, what are we going to do today? Maybe I have prepared the lessons ahead of time, maybe weeks in advance or years in advance when it's the material that I've taught over and over again, but still I have to stop and think, oh my gosh, what do I do now? Anytime that there is an error, if there is something there that's not supposed to be there, we put just a little check. If it isn't there and it's supposed to be there, we put a little check. No, it's just daily work. Now, when we're all through, we'll count the little check, and then we'll see what the score is.
35, 40 bright, shining faces waiting for me to throw out some kind of pearls of wisdom. They really are waiting to be taught something. And it's the challenge for me to try to teach them. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
Do sentence number 1, please.
Does everybody have one of these?
16 this way.
She's got her hand up. Give her one. Oh.
There are days when you'll go into that class and you're in a bad mood. The kids can pick it up before you've said a thing. There are the days when you're just bouncing to get in there, and that day it rains or the wind blows or the kids had a bad experience in some other class and your class falls apart that hour.
No! Wait, I want to see what the next one is.
If you're tense in the classroom, they don't want to see. They want to see you relaxed, and they want to think that you're enjoying them. Even if they make it difficult for you to do this, they want to think this.
You should have opened the box first, Dana, before you found out it was sand.
If I'm in an angry mood, the class reacts immediately. I get much less cooperation from them, and they get more frustrated, and I get more frustrated.
Oh, come on.
And if I don't stop it and try to straighten it out immediately, it gets worse until by the end of the period, we're mad at the world. Everything breaks down.
Don't look at Ruth. She's over there keeping herself busy. You're supposed to be working around the table there. And you say something about the candy, and don't look at who's prompting you. I tell you, whoever sings loudest gets out first. Okay, all right, that'll do it, that'll do it. Yeah. Okay, now come on. Here we go. Hey, ho, yo, yo,
Kids reach frustration levels very quickly, and they act out these frustrations. And sometimes it's your fault, and sometimes it's faults of things that are around you.
It always affects the mood of the class, because if a teacher's in a bad mood, the class always tries to make her angrier. And if she's in a good mood, we try to cooperate.
All right. Cut it out over there. Now just stop it. Sit down. Sit down. That's enough. Okay. Now, what is the difference between noise and sound?
If a teacher is in a good mood, you usually learn more that day than you will in a week of a teacher in a bad mood.
40 kids in a class, each with a different mood, one teacher with a different mood, which means 41 different moods and 41 different personalities, all having to mesh and accomplish something in 50 minutes. It's sort of amazing that anything ever is accomplished, really.
It is organized.
The other type of resistor that we have is called a potentiometer. It's a resistor that is varied, and we vary it by turning a dial, and we change the amount of resistance wire between this finger here and the end of the wire. And you can get a good
The
idea
best way
of
to
how it
keep your
works
class
by
attentive is to not get too long-winded.
It is very vague. But
A teacher talking all period just really doesn't soak in, because the kid will usually get so bored with what the teacher's talking about, he'll just tune him off and not listen anymore.
I like seeing a teacher as a human being rather than as a computer spewing out facts.
I like a class that you can participate in, where you don't sit around and listen to the teacher all day.
I don't care about dull textbooks. I don't care about thousands and thousands of facts, undigestible facts that just don't mean anything. So most of the time I'm just bored. I'm just tired of what they're teaching me.
The material that am teaching now is the same material I've been teaching for the last 4 or 5 years, with a few exceptions. So I'm bored by so much of it. But you have to act interested in it. You have to give them the feeling that it's sort of interesting and that it's sort of meaningful.
If a teacher is bored with what he's teaching, he can be pretty doggone sure that his students are going to be bored too.
You can't let the material bore you. You can't be bored with the teaching. It has to keep moving. It has to change. The kids are different. You're different. The world has changed since the last time you've taught it, even if you taught it yesterday.
If there's a period of history that we're supposed to cover because the law says you cover it, and I don't like it, then we'll cover it in 30 minutes and forget about it and get on to the things I like.
Leave the paper there and I'll read it to you.
I often get bored in class, and sometimes I even fall asleep.
I sit there, I draw little things on a piece of paper and daydream about things that I want to do.
You think about your social life.
Think about girls.
You just look at the ceiling.
If I have a book, I'll be in the back of the class reading. I don't care what happens.
I usually sit and I write poetry. I look at the clock. I'm sure it bothers the teacher a lot to see, half the kids in the class staring at the clock. And it isn't very fair to the teacher, but if you're bored, you just can't help it.
Clock watching is something, I guess, you can use as a gauge to how well you're going over with the kids. The more they're watching the clock, the more you're aware that you are really not going over.
I've stared at the clock quite often. You know, you're just waiting for that freedom to come.
They have no clock to look at. They're going to be very bored at the end of the period, because looking at that clock in the last 5 minutes is one of the most exciting things they do.
Very few people have any answers. And they're usually looking at...
Now, you bring me a note tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Were you ill? Sick? Infirmal?
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, 4 days and no note. Boy, are you in my doghouse. You better bring that note in. I will. And get the right telephone number from your mother.
Yeah, I will.
Okay, class, today I'm King George III, just off the boat from England. I'm also Parliament, and I'm here to discuss with you some of the things I've been hearing about over there in England, some of the problems that you've been causing me, some of the things that you aren't happy with. Now, remember that you're talking to His Majesty, and you will treat me with respect. But I'm going to listen to you.
Standing in front of a class with 40 faces, you have to almost play to them. You almost feel like an actor after a while. We're competing with TV, and if we want to keep their attention and get something across, you almost have to do it in an entertaining way.
Taxes. That's all I've been hearing lately. How these taxes are hurting you. But you know as well as I do.
It's not important that we cover everything in a book. In fact, that's becoming less and less important.
The need for teachers who teach nothing but content is very limited. Content is available through computers and data banks and libraries. And so the teacher who thinks that his job is to teach a great many facts which the youngster will never lose is fooling himself.
It's fun to get up there in front of the class and put the show on. Nobody's there to bother me, and if somebody could watch me, they'd say, why, he's a fool up there. But the kids are eating it up, and it's working. It's working. They love it. What's this about the English Bill of Rights? Tell me this one. I'm sure you're wrong. Read it to me.
That excessive bail ought not to be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishments inflicted. Word for word.
And you say that by bringing those people, those criminals to England to try them, that's cruel? Are you implying that my judges might not be carrying out justice?
Well, you're in charge of his job, so you can take it away from him if he doesn't do a good job.
Well, I want to make sure I know who gets the job. So, you know, somebody I can count on.
Well, yeah, but...
That's fair.
Before they even get in there, they're guilty.
Yeah.
By the way your courts are.
Well, my courts in England are the fairest in the world.
Your best friend is the judge, right?
I bring them over here so that we can give them better justice. That's the only reason. They got into their own trouble.
Well, then they should be proven guilty in America and then brought over.
Ah, but why?
In the first place.
You see, you're expressing the very point that I'm so upset with. You people are impossible. All you give me is rules, rules, rules. You people are acting like a bunch of wretched ingrates, ungrateful, foolish children. And I want you to understand that unless you come back into line and obey all the rules and live by the order that I have brought to you, that you are in for a great deal of trouble.
Variety
Understand it.
is really the spice. None of us likes to go home at night and eat the same meal day after day, and yet we feed the same pap to these students day after day and wonder why somebody falls asleep in the back and somebody else is throwing airplanes and a couple of them are engaging in fights. Maria.
Well, it sounded like there was fire and the animals were running.
This whole opening sounded like a fire. You could see the sort of flames and all that stuff. Was it a big fire or a little fire? Yeah, it was a big fire.
Like a festival.
Like a festival. Okay, like a festival. Okay, do you want to know what it is?
The real experience of learning in junior high school comes at the most unexpected moments.
you think that you have done everything right, and nothing happens. And then all of a sudden, it's like turning on a switch. Something marvelous happens. I don't know where it comes from, and it catches like wildfire. It starts over here, and then somebody else picks it up, and all of a sudden you've got this electric thing going on in the classroom, and that's one of the most exciting things that can occur.
Could be. Okay, well, I'll tell you what it is. It is the Pines of Rome. Pines of Rome. And who's the guy who wrote it? Can you say that word? Otorino, Respighi. Right. Okay, now what nationality is he?
If you want to do something for extra credit, then you come up here and get another sheet of paper and do something that somebody did the state of California. How could you do that one? If you did it last year in the 7th grade, why can't you do it this year in the 8th grade?
That square deal. No, we did. And I know how to do these. You're trying to explain to me, and I know how to do it.
If you already know how to do it, don't listen to me. Just go ahead and do it.
Okay.
Page 228.
Students no longer look to the teacher as any ultimate authority any more than they are looking at their parents as an ultimate authority. They're rejecting so much.
They question everything. Stand up, sit down, don't talk, don't chew gum, fill out this paper. And it is a problem getting the students to even fill out a simple paper with their name on it. They want to know why, and a simple answer does not suffice. They want a lengthy dissertation.
It's not the same ball game. And I think teachers are, in many cases, living by rules that no longer obtain.
If he can't show the students how the subject can be relevant and interesting to them, he has no contact, and the students won't listen because they don't see any reason to.
Irrelevant. So many of our students seem to bandy this word about so much now. Oh, it's not relevant. What's it got to do with us now? They say they're bored. Well, perhaps part of it is boredom, because I'm sure that we can't touch all of these people all of the time, and yet they don't give the teachers a chance. They walk in expecting to be bored, and if they tell themselves often enough that they're going to be bored, they will be.
1, 2, ready, go. Oh, lousy beginning. Let's try it again. A little more oomph. A little more oomph on the snare and bass. I'll count again. 1, 2, ready, play.
Do live up to your expectations. If you're sure the student's going to misbehave, generally they do.
If you're labeled as a bad kid, they will treat you like a bad kid. If they don't like you, as soon as you open your mouth, it's all over. They get you.
Well, I have one teacher who doesn't like me, and they automatically, it's like they shut you out.
If you're a good kid, they will be nice to you. They won't be watching you as closely as they'll be watching a bad kid.
It's just that if you like a person, then you're going to give them better chances than a person that you don't like.
What do you know? We ended together.
What are you making?
The pudding, but I always like to...
You're supposed to take all the dry ingredients into your pan, remember? And then you add your milk. Now, what's your problem, honey?
For a lot of kids, they want to be teachers' pets. The reason most kids kiss up to their teachers to get a better grade.
Kiss-ups are usually just little punky kids that all they do is just, they always want to answer every question. I don't think any kid likes a kiss-up because, it's just sickening the way to see how he does it.
How can I feel bad about teachers' pets when
I'm almost one myself.
It doesn't seem right that the person who's the sweetest to the teacher will get the best grade.
It's very difficult to really tell whether they're genuinely sincere or whether they're just trying to kiss up for the grade.
Would you please bring me a damp cloth so that we can wipe off the supply table? All right.
I feel a certain amount of distance has to be kept between the student and the teacher.
I maintain kind of an impersonal contact with my students. I don't like to reveal myself to them. I don't want them to get to know me real well, and I don't want to know them too well. You run into personality problems teaching. You encounter a kid who just, for some reason, you just don't care for him. That happens, and usually when that happens, he doesn't care much for you. In class, if you belittle a student, it can ruin the relationship for the entire year that you have with that student. He can resent you because you've made him suffer in front of his peer group.
You are liable to wind up having more personality clashes the closer you get to them. I think, though, you can do a better job of teaching if you know them well and get close to them, even though it opens up this danger of personality clashes.
If you're dealing with 200 students a day, there's got to be a few that you just can't communicate with.
I have too many people over there. Tommy, are you a number 2? I'm a cook. Then you have no business being over trying to get the pudding ingredients.
Quiet now. Hey, would you put the hairbrush away, please? Thank you. That's kind of you. Now, before we start the test, I will answer any and all questions. However, you must have a specific question, not just what are the answers to the test.
You have to have rules when you have 1,375 students gathered together in one plant.
We live by rules, and I think that they need some of the basics. I don't think that they need know this, know that, no gum chewing, no talking, but they do need some.
Let me go over what we started yesterday. How many people...
I feel like a babysitter or a policeman on the days when the youngsters are extremely high and you can't get anything done but just keep them off the ceilings.
Policeman's job is to maintain order, I suppose, and if you don't maintain order in a classroom, you're not going to accomplish anything.
When I first started teaching and I found out that there was this whole field of administrative enforcement, a good, nice synonym for it, I was very discouraged and very disappointed. I figured, what the hell did I become a teacher for? To be a cop? I don't like it. I don't want to do it. And as a couple years went by, I found that, okay, some of it's necessary. So I'll do it when it has to be done, and I'll do it as best I can so that maybe less of it has to be done.
What, Mr. Hauser? You should be nice today.
The reason I'm being nice today is because you're being better today, except when you hit him.
If you don't, you're going to go home and shoot your father because he helped you?
No, my father's going to shoot me.
Oh.
I don't understand.
We are in a time of changing standards, and yet we have a great many teachers who are still convinced that it is necessary to have an authority figure in a classroom. Children will come into a school expecting to treat all adults as equals or even inferiors and find themselves face-to-face with a teacher who expects children almost to be seen and not heard.
Things, but you know, we live in a paper and pencil world. And there's lots of people that may well be geniuses and have fantastic ideas, but if they can't present their ideas or put them on paper...
For 30 seconds, let's be quiet. You talk too much. Even when you answer a question, you boom it out all over the class.
I'm sorry.
Really?
Well...
You've been pulled off this, Zoe. Let's say.
I can't talk. You can't talk.
It's a sign of our times. We're going to have to make some adjustments, and then we're going to hope that the youngsters will make some adjustments, too. The time of rigidity is gone.
All right.
You know what I've got? I've got a stool and I've got a dunce cap. Yeah, I just might. I've been known to do things like that. Yeah. Okay. Now, who's the candidate for the stool with the dunce cap?
There are many different ways of keeping order in class. Sometimes it's doing it with humor. Sometimes it's doing it as the top drill sergeant.
I've banged rulers down on desks. I've used the absolute silence method. I've bawled them out now and then. I've given them rap sessions. And each of these will work for a short period of time. But basically, the best form of discipline is that when the youngster comes in, he knows what he has to do.
What did you tell me? Are you? No. Okay, Dan, come up here. Move someplace else. Move away onto the other side of the room. You see, you blew it. We made an agreement, you didn't keep your part of it. Right? Okay.
The discipline is always the same. It's threats, it's anger. The threats are grades, and always grades. Homework, calling parents, being told that if you get a bad grade on your report card, you'll never get into college. The worst threat, of course, is being expelled or sent down to the vice principal.
I can hear you above everybody.
I get mad and they get scared. When I begin to yell, they settle down.
Another teacher takes out a whistle, takes a deep breath, and gives a high-powered blast that breaks everyone's eardrums.
Really, really ugly. I can stand quietly in front of the class, and bedlam just continues. Usually, I have to whistle, and then that has lost its effectiveness, and then I have to yell. You have to yell to get above all 40 voices.
Just before they scream, that's when you know that they're going to scream. It's just like maybe a sixth sense that kids in school have. You always know when you've gone too far and when the teacher's going to scream.
Boys and girls, you be quiet and do as I ask you to do, period. Now, there's certain times when you just do as I ask you to do and no questions asked, right?
Well, the teacher really doesn't bother me when he yells at me because I'm used to all that from at home.
If you lose your temper, if they see you really go to pieces and lose everything, then you've lost a certain amount of position that you'll never regain.
Please, the table doesn't care what you say. Don't look down at it. Look out.
If you scream and yell and look as if you're losing control, then you're no longer the authority figure that you'd like to be.
Bud! Keep looking at!
When the teacher gets angry, I don't shut up. I just keep on talking.
The best way to handle talking in class is to tell them not to. I say shut up. Other teachers say you shouldn't say shut up. It's unprofessional. It might be, but they understand it.
Sometimes talking can be constructive in that they can learn a great deal from each other and their interchange of ideas with each other.
We have, at our school, quite a collection of talkers. They're good kids, but they just don't know when to keep their mouth shut.
You know what? You're the noisiest kids in the world. You really are. I've been around a lot, and I've never seen such noisemakers as you are.
The words, when they come to confirm or contradict
I write notes to my friends who are in the classroom. It's fun to see how they get across the room without the teacher noticing them. Most kids are very cooperative, and when they get a note, they see the name on it, and they just pass it on to the direction it's supposed to go.
Although the notes really don't say much, they're a lot more interesting than what the teacher is saying. And it's easier to put up with a boring class if you can pass notes.
Two by two, please. Do not go on down the steps until I come down. Please line up 2 by 2. Thank you. I hate fire drills.
Interruptions sometimes drive me crazy. There I am casting my pearls, and all at once, ding, 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 or the door opens. And this is one of those little things that I guess I'll never become accustomed to, no matter how long I teach.
April Swain? She's absent, and she wanted to go on that Disneyland. She wanted to go so bad. She wants to go so bad.
Just about the time you get them all settled down, somebody knocks at the door, a bell rings, the PA system goes off. If not that, then you've got the lawnmowers on the outside, or a plane overhead, or a copter. All of a sudden, the learning experience has been destroyed, and you have to start all over again.
Well, I don't know. Don't look at me. I have no control over these things. All right, now, let's go back. Quiet. How would we find the slope given these 2 points that we know? The point, there she is. Good afternoon, Miss Loeb. That's nice.
Tardies irritate me because they make it difficult to get the class going on a good note.
Tardiness is something that there never is going to be an answer to. Some students are so habituated to being tardy that there really is no purpose in your making any mention of it. You're not going to change him or his home environment and tell him subtly that tardiness is not good when he's been able to do it for all these years.
Pardon the interruption. There are several announcements. The people who are going
That lovely machine. I wish I could turn that off.
at 10:30.
The PA always manages to just drive me right up the wall. They say, pardon the interruption, and I know they really don't mean it. They intend to go right ahead with what they're saying. And sometimes it's such trivia that goes on the PA.
Come on, Hauser, knock it off. Oh, this is so important.
Intercom announcements almost come as welcome sometimes. It's a nice change from the routine.
I can't concentrate.
You basically ignore the distractions to the best you can, because you've got to realize you're working with the whole class, and you can't let one person or one distraction destroy the class.
You have to roll with the punch. You have to be very flexible. You have to understand that these are volatile, excitable young people who are kids, and you can't say, what's the matter with you? You're acting like a kid, because that's what he is.
Somebody could disturb a class by getting up and throwing a paper airplane, or throwing notes to somebody, or eating candy, chewing gum and popping it.
That's what we all mostly do, just talk and pop our gum.
It used to be that people made a big deal about gum chewing. Gum chewing is kind of a relaxing thing. It gives you something physically to do, and it kind of frees your mind sometimes for assimilating information.
I tell the students they may chew gum as long as they chew like ladies and gentlemen, and this does not mean like standing out in the pasture like bossy. In other words, don't chew your cud.
One ninth grade. I really dig on chewing gum because it breaks the habit of smoking.
Once they start chewing gum, then they will be eating candy, sunflower seeds, and so on, dropping their leavings on the floor. I just say gum, and I point to the basket, and they immediately get rid of it. I have very little gum chewing in my class.
Well, my hand is covered with bubble gum. Therefore, I think I have a vendetta out on gum chewers. Mary? All you swallowed it? All right. There's one bit of news. Well, okay, I'll tell it to you tomorrow. All right. See you later. Oh, yeah.
Our vocabulary on the junior high level is quite extensive. Any four-letter words that you think your boys and girls don't know, believe me, they do.
Words like hell and damn are so common that it isn't even considered anything worse than darn. It's in the same vocabulary.
I hear it all the time. It's written everywhere. Kids, they say it in the halls. It's all over the place.
Either I swear or I eat it up inside of me, and if I eat it up inside of me, then I'll let it out in another class. So it's sort of just, my anger sort of just comes out in swearing.
If it's used when a kid is really angry, or if it's used when a kid is really trying to make a point and there's no other word that he could possibly think of, then I'm going to have to accept it in the classroom.
I think profanity in class should never be allowed. We are trying to create a standard for the student of behavior where we indicate that certain things are acceptable and certain things are not acceptable.
You can't swear out loud, so you write it all over your desk.
Amador, hey, Barbara, hey, Amador, you sit down. Yeah, I know you never write on the desk, but the only thing, anything like that is every time you sit at a desk, that's like that. Yeah, and it's the only, Yeah, but you're the only one that would write that sits in those seats. Oh. Don't owe me. I know that's true, and you know it's true, right?
There are some youngsters who feel a definite need or compulsion to carve things in desks. And usually what they carve are either initials or an obscene word.
You may want to know about the next pupil in the class, so you'll write a note. You'll say, my name is so-and-so, and I'm in period 1. Who are you? You'll get notes.
Somebody wrote the measurements of a teacher. It gets pretty interesting.
Once I even found a poem on the desk. It's a very nice one, too.
Well, writing on desks and the walls is really dumb. I mean, really dumb. They're just doodling because they're waiting for the clock to go by.
If you're mad at a teacher, you can't walk up and tell the person, what you really think of them. But if you write on a wall, you know that the teacher's going to see it someday. And even though you're anonymous, you still get that simple pleasure of knowing the teacher has seen what you really think about her.
If a teacher says something to me and it really gets me mad and I know I'm right and she won't let me alone, I'm usually going to tell her what I think of her or tell her where to go or something.
The one thing that no teacher could ever accept really is direct defiance or direct disobedience. It's the one thing you have to meet head on. You have to handle it immediately in such a way that it won't pop up again.
Now, I've had enough out of you 3 kids over there. Now, that's enough. Okay, out you go. Babushki. Scram.
You'll send a student to the opportunity room when he is not in an emotional state to learn. He's got a problem. He's disturbing the other kids.
Can you get about 10 questions done today, Barry?
Yeah.
We'll get started.
I know, you're going to say, I'll bet you can't do 10 questions, then you're going to charge me.
I would bet you could do 20.
See? Well, I'll do 10.
Okay. Everybody has their assignment? Richard, you can bring your desk over here, too, and I'll show both of you. Faces? Okay. We started out like that, didn't we?
Yeah.
With an egg. Okay? There should be a whole section. Here's what a mouth looks like. There's what a mouth looks like.
The opportunity room is a room where people can be sent for the moment to relieve an immediate situation before either he or you blow up at each other.
It's a neutral corner. It's a place where they can go and be free of the pressures of 40 other kids and a teacher.
It's a room where the teacher can send him instead of sending him to the vice principal. I think there's a need for a vice principal in the school because a lot of these kids really do have problems. And the teacher's unable to handle a lot of discipline problems.
All right, now then, may I ask what I'm here for?
Okay, Mrs. Chambers. Why would Mrs. Chambers send a note to a vice principal asking me to talk to you?
What did I do in Mrs. Chambers' class? That was good yesterday.
Well, she didn't say you aren't good in class.
Huh?
She didn't indicate anything about your behavior in class.
What'd she indicate?
She said you're a great guy, but she said you're continually tardy, period 5. And that when she mentions it, you think it's a joke.
Well, the first time I was there, I was scared, because I thought I was gonna get swatted or suspended or something. That's all I need. My parents would kill me.
You're all scared in there, and you know you're going to get in trouble if it's your fault. So you're really scared.
Waiting outside the boys' vice principal's office, each student is different out there. The ones that have been in there many times are joking about it or telling the students who haven't been there very often how tough it is or how easy it is. The students who've never been in there before are probably very nervous, waiting for the unexpected, and they don't know for sure what's going to happen.
The vice principal really comes out as the chief cop in the school, and it's a dirty job. It's a nasty job. It's a very rough job.
The boys VP usually does believe the teacher because, you know, he's the teacher and, you know, the kid's the kid.
Okay, what do you think Mrs. Solomon has a right to? And she was hurt physically as a result of this goofing off. What do you think she has a right to expect?
She has a right to expect an apology or say, I'm sorry.
Okay, you think you can do this? All right, why don't you take care of it? When are you going to be able to do this?
6th period today.
Good idea. Greg has his own solution.
If we don't back up a teacher in the classroom, that class can't function. If we supported a youngster in a dispute with the teacher frequently, we would find that that youngster is the only one who would be hurt. It would be his problem. The most serious reaction that I could give them is to get on the phone and talk to their parents in front of the youngster and indicate what had happened.
Settle the problem, get there on time so that you don't disturb class. Okay? Or are you going to get you in cooperation? How are you going to do it?
Huh?
How are you going to do it? If you can't do it, then we have to ask your mother to help out. You know that. No.
Yeah, that's the only thing you do.
All right.
Every time I'm in here, you get the weakest point, the worst point that you can do.
Of course, Gus. Isn't it obvious to you? If it works, why not?
You know the trick. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Some people have said that if a boy's vice principal doesn't make a lavatory wall, that he's not succeeding.
Okay. You know what we should have done after the first fight in the morning, right? What should we have done, Alan, to prevent the second fight?
Right, but Mr. Silverman doesn't
No,
care.
Alan, you're not answering my question. What should you have done after the first fight? What should I have done after the first fight, had I known about it, to prevent the second one and some boy from being hurt? Send you both home, right, and let you cool your heels. Separate you two.
I'm cool right now.
Oh, but I do think your parents are going to have to come in.
In a wheelchair.
Well, what about your dad?
He works.
So you mean to tell me he can't get here?
Yes, he
That
cannot
he cannot
get here.
take any time off? Well, somebody's going to have to, because Alan is suspended from school fighting, and so is Steve, unfortunately.
In my opinion, what happened today, I don't think it would happen again, because you say expellment, and that's like death for me.
Well, did you know that you'd be suspended for fighting?
Not the first fight. Yeah.
Not the first fight? You sure, Alan? Why didn't you come down and find out? You had a lot of time between the first incident and the second today. This was twice. You had a lot of time to cool off and a lot of time to come down and talk to me, Alan.
I never thought of it.
That's right.
That's quite a difficult job. They like kids, but the kids don't think so, because they don't see him as a Mr. Nice Guy. They see him as the authority figure, my dad figure, the man that passes out the punishment.